Chapter 1. The dirty yellow and blue cab rolled to a stop at the curb, idling noisily.
"Are you sure about this?"
The blond one asked his friend.
"Don't be a dick, Ryan. We talked about this already. You said you wanted to do this, so let's do it. We'll just look around for a while and then grab another cab out of here. I've got it with me,"
he said as he patted his belt where the revolver was tucked.
"So we're safe. Everyone here's fucked up on drugs anyhow, so what could happen?" 10 minutes,
Ryan demanded, staring him down.
"We look around for 10 minutes and then we're gone."
20, Chris replied. They nodded at each other, and then Ryan slipped a black ski cap over his yellow hair as Chris paid the driver and they scooted out of the car. The city on the hill looked almost welcoming at night. The sparkling lights higher up, as well as the yellow glow coming from some of the nearby windows, beckoned the young men up from the street. And the darkness did a pretty good job of hiding the debris and the filth and the poverty and the ramshackle state of the shelters and cheap structures jammed together like some crazy urban jigsaw puzzle, as well as the suspicious stares of the dark faces that followed their trajectory up the stairs.
"I can't believe people actually live like this,"
Ryan nearly shouted over the din of Portuguese rap music, combined with dogs barking and people yelling and traffic honking in the street below.
"What the fuck is that smell?"
Chris asked.
"Jesus Christ, it smells like someone's cooking shit for dinner." "Maybe they are."
Ryan laughed nervously. He glanced at his watch. They still had 15 more minutes before they could flee. But then at least he could say that he'd been in the heart of a favela. He considered that for some American college students like himself, the exploration of the slums of Rio de Janeiro had become the bungee jumping of their generation. And he could see why. The fear he was experiencing at this moment was better than the thrill he got watching some slasher movie. His heart pounded, his flesh was crawling, and every sense, especially his sight, hearing, and sense of touch, was heightened. It was like those few times in high school when he'd done meth, but without the phantom skin bugs. He felt as terrified as he was giddy. The unmistakable thump-diddy-thump-diddy-thump of faraway reggae music met their ears, as well as some raucous laughter. The boys turned to each other.
"Ever been to a party in Rio, my friend?"
Chris asked.
"I'm not sure if we should,"
Ryan began to protest.
"Life is short," Chris cut him off. "We'll stick our heads in and say hi, smoke some ganja, and then leave, just so we can say we did." "You are so fucking crazy,"
Ryan told him, and with that they began picking their way along the labyrinth of paths toward the music. Thump-diddy-thump-diddy-thump. It grew louder and louder until they could tell that the party was just over a wall.
"How do we get over that?"
Chris asked, pointing to the peeling plaster with the broken bottles set into cement on its ridge.
"There's no fucking way."
Ryan looked at his watch. They were already way past their agreed-upon 20 minutes.
"Chris, let's go." "No way, man. We've come this far. Let's go back how we came and see if we can find a way around this wall."
They made a U-turn and began their descent down a flight of stairs, where Chris discovered a path leading off to the right.
"Let's try this one."
He pointed excitedly into the darkness.
"I'm leaving,"
Ryan replied.
"You do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm out of here." "Ryan, come on!"
Ryan shook his head and began making his way down to the street, walking at first, and then nearly running.
"Ryan!"
Chris yelled after him, but when his friend didn't turn around, he began following him down.
Okay, just slow up."
Ryan kept running.
"Wait, it's not that way, it's over this way."
Ryan sprinted, terrified. There were no thrilling goosebumps, no mild euphoria, or anything even remotely good about this. He felt like a lost dog with its tail down, running along a busy highway. And then something tripped him. He flew chin first through the air, landed with a whoomp on his chest, and then skidded head first along the ground and came to a rest just as something sharp dug into his forearm. He couldn't breathe. Wind knocked out, one part of his scrambled brain reported to the other, and in a moment Chris was behind him, kneeling down.
"Jesus, are you okay?"
Chris asked, suddenly panicked.
"Oh, ow."